Saludos, buenas tardes. Francisco Lugo Viña here, kicking off the new season of Paco Zen Show. Um, I'm recording outside, so all the noises of motorcycles and kids playing will come into play, I'm sure. I wanted to do a comeback on this channel, on this YouTube channel, and review the kinds of things that I like to do as a Zen teacher, as a Zen guide, as a gardener of people. And I use that expression because in nurturing and helping people, it's almost the way that I do farming. There's a lot of intention, attention, and attendance to whatever it is you're doing in the farm. So the law of the farm in many ways applies to all of us. And what I always say is what are all of us looking for in many ways that we all would agree it reflects some of our more larger aspirations. I think that we all seek to be happy. I think if we were happy in this world on a day-to-day basis, 50-60% of the day, I believe that we would be okay. But I believe the majority of people are not only not happy, but don't know why they're not happy, and they have no idea how to get to happiness if that plays a role. I think that people become complacent, that life is what it is, that life is suffering, that things happen to good people. Sometimes it happens to bad people too, but the way we look at it, why did it happen to me? I'm not a bad person. And so the happiness aspirations sort of go to the side, meaning that I'll never reach a level of happiness and joy that I really feel I want, I deserve, and would make me a happier camper on this earth. I think people want to be connected. Um, but before connection, I think people, after happiness, they really want to give love and receive love. And we don't know how to do that. We sometimes, with people who are very close to us, we don't give them enough hugs. We don't give them enough uplifting words. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. And I think people are more and more beginning to do that. Particularly during these days where the younger people have lost the pathway to this pathway of really, really giving love to people and receiving love and loving themselves primarily. Because you cannot love anyone unless you really, really, truly love yourself and appreciate yourself and realize what a miracle you are, what a miracle that you're here. And you have an incredible level of woe and wonderment about how you got here and how you operate and how your brain operates, your body operates. So giving love is something that we learn to do together when we're practicing. And we'll talk about the practice perhaps at later times. And the other part is that people want to be connected to self and to others, as I said before. So it's really reaching a level of consistent or more often than not happiness, connecting with self and connecting with others, um, and being able to get to that place where um, you're surrounded by a lot of people who love you and who you love as well. And to me, those three pillars are the key to going forward, to finding pathways that are much easier than the pathways that we find our ways in, meaning that bumps in the road, holes in the road, um, bad decisions, wrong speech, wrong behavior, hanging around with the wrong people. All of those things that happen tend to get minimized or happen less when you have those three pillars as foundational principles and values in who and what you are. Um, so, what is it that I do? Um, I talk to a lot of people about where they are, and obviously, not everyone is in the same place, and not all remedies are the same for everyone, as everyone is so much an individual. There are no two people in this world that are the same. And the Buddha, like a good doctor, did a diagnosis on everyone that he met in terms of their spiritual presence and being, um, and and so he prescribed differently to different people. But foundationally, we are meditators. Foundationals were people who are connected to our breath, our breathing, and we're connected to everything around us with that breath of life that we first got when we came out of the womb, and which will be the one that we let out towards the end of our life, of which, if it doesn't come back, then you've left the planet. So we're connected, we're grounded with the breathing, um, and we learn through the practice of meditation the the ability to be aware, the ability to notice, the ability to self-correct in little ways. And it is a process that takes a long time. It is not a quick fix. That's the bad news. It takes quite a few years to get to a place that is your ideal, whatever your ideal is. Um, but more importantly, one of the things that I do is I am like I'm either a rudder or a trim tab on a boat's directional mechanism, in which we make little adjustments with the trim tab, and we make larger, slower directional corrections with the rudder, which is the bigger instrument in particular in big boats. Um, um, and I use that because sometimes we as humans have gotten so chronically caught up with our habits, and that it's very difficult to turn an ocean liner around in what we would call turn it around on a dime. It doesn't happen. But so how does a big ocean liner turn around if the rudder can't do it? Well, on every rudder, which are huge, probably a couple of stories of a building, or a 5-story building, there is another rudder which is smaller, and it's called a trim tab. And that trim tab is the one that allows the boat to turn around safer and faster. And so sometimes in our life we need a trim tab. That's the whole point. I try to help people identify those moments when that has to happen, and the trim tab has to be put into use. And so that's what I intend to do. I'm hoping that I can practice what I preach, meaning that I would be able to be on more often and develop consistency. If any of this makes any sense to you, I want you to kind of hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, or even more important is to tell people to tune in to Paco Zen show and Francisco Lugoviña, Paco Genkoji, and to begin a relationship in which I'm sure that over the next year 18 months, 36 months, we will grow. We will grow very differently. And this being the beginning uh, is a is an attempt for me to come back into this, and I need your help in doing this. Thank you. Be well. Be blessed. Um, Always go to bed with gratitude. Always get up from bed with gratitude. Gratitude for what you have and gratitude for what you don't have. I always say the universe has a lot of options of what to give you. So you want to be grateful for both. Be well, be blessed, and may you have a wonderful New Year's um, and a wonderful 2026.